Are film cameras outdated, or are they just now starting to really make a comeback? The first time I ever took a photograph was on a film camera. It was one of those point and shoots that your mom or your grandma would buy and hand out to the kids and send them on their way taking photos. Nothing nothing that you really had to have any real skill to be able to do. You'd press a button, the flash would go off, and it would take a photo. And maybe in a couple weeks, you would end up getting to see those photos once somebody took them in to get it developed. Now, for a while, a lot of people really thought that film was going to go completely away, especially as digital began taking over and became the new norm. Nobody really wanted to pick up a film camera because what was the point of having to purchase the film, take it in to get developed before you could see your photos when you could just use a digital camera that you could see it on the back of the screen. You could plug it into your computer and be able to pull up and see the images immediately. Nobody wanted to spend the money on the film and spend the money on the development and have to wait to see the photos and know if they took anything that was worth anything. Even a couple years ago, people thought for sure that at least color film was going to go the wayside. It was getting harder and harder to find film stocks and more expensive to purchase the film stocks and even get them developed. But it's been the complete opposite. Your standard Kodaks and Fuji stocks are readily available at the Walgreens and Walmart. And you've got new companies that are coming out like Cinestill that is producing, in my opinion, some of the best color and black and white film available. And not only do they have new film stocks available, but they have reasonably priced kits for you to be able to develop that film at home if you want. Now, film photography is something that I've always loved. And I did go away from it for a while because it was getting expensive, and it was something that wasn't really within my budget to be able to continue pursuing. But I've always liked it because you had to slow down. You had to really focus on your composition. You had to take your time. You had to look at the world a little differently to be able to get a photo to come out correctly on a film camera. I also love the process of taking my film into my local lab and having it developed and, in a week being able to go see the negatives and see the photos themselves. And just that it goes back to those memories as a kid, getting to see your photos for the first time and getting to enjoy that and not that instant satisfaction of a digital camera. With a film, there is no retake, there's no reshot. What you took is what you took. Shooting film has really helped me with my digital photography. Because, as I said, when you're shooting on film, it forces you to slow down. It forces you to focus on your composition. You can't rely on an electronic viewfinder that is showing you your perfect exposure. There's no grid lines to help you line up. There's no screen on the back so that you can review those photos and retake it as necessary. You have to picture the photograph in your mind before you click the shutter release. And I think right now is one of the perfect times to be getting into film photography or even getting back into it. The film stock is readily available and isn't all that overly priced. You can pick up some Fuji 400 for about $13 a roll, and I think it'll cost you around $15 to $20 to develop it. I know some people will balk at the price and how much it does cost, but I think in the return investment on it, as it translates into your digital photography, is well worth it. And just the experience of shooting on film cameras is a whole different feeling itself. It feels more like art, where digital sometimes can just feel like a job. It's just taking the photo, doing the edits, and sending them to the clients. A film camera feels like you're really creating something. Now, if you're considering getting into film, look around on the used markets. There's a lot of different film cameras that are out there. Some of them going for a pretty hefty price. But even something like these Pentax K1000s, you can pick them up from between $150 and $200. And a lot of times, the places you can order these from, they've refurbished it. They've cleaned it up. They've repainted it. It's almost like having a new camera that was built in the late 70s, early 80s. Now, what I will say with these cameras, you need to be looking for the Japanese made ones or the ones that were made in Hong Kong. When they switched production over in the late 80s to China, the quality of them really went down and they started using a lot of plastic parts on them. So make sure you are getting a more quality built one. Now, something else I've been seeing recently is the amount of people that have been wanting their photographs taken with film cameras. Myself, I'm a millennial, so we grew up in that period where we had started with film cameras and we saw it all switch over to digital. So a film camera was nothing new to us. Now, this newer generation, they've been wanting those older retro stuff. They've been wanting the records and even tapes, and they want their photos taken with these film cameras. It's stuff that they had heard from their parents, that they've heard from their grandparents, or they've seen old family albums, and they want to be able to experience that themselves. And I love being able to offer this to my wedding clients. I've got a few different film cameras that I'm able to use during weddings. It's just something else that I'm able to add on to it that my clients really seem to enjoy, and I enjoy being able to take those photos and be able to give them a whole different experience, for them to be able to experience what it's even like to see how a film camera works. It usually gives a lot of people quite a big smile to really understand, or grasp that it's being taken on a film and that it has to go out and get developed and it's going to be sent to them, that it's nothing that they're able to see right away. So if you've ever considered getting into shooting film or maybe even getting back into it, I think right now is a really great time to do it. There's a lot of options out there, and even Pentax is coming out with new film cameras. Now, I can't say a whole lot about it because I haven't used one, but I think that's pretty cool, though, that a company is coming out with new 35 millimeter film cameras. So go ahead and get out there and look around. Look on, Facebook Marketplace. Go look at your local pawn shops or even your local camera store. And try to find your own little 35 millimeter camera and get out there and create something and help keep the art of film alive.